The rain fell heavily over Jingzhou City. On the rooftop of the 23rd floor, Lin Yu knelt against the cold concrete, her hands trembling as blood slid down the corner of her lips. The city lights blurred before her eyes. The people she trusted most stood in front of her. Her fiance, her younger stepsister, her father, all smiling, all waiting for her to die. Why? Lin Yu whispered hoarsely. Xu Minghao adjusted his expensive suit and looked at her with disgust. Because you were always useless. Beside him, Lin Shanshan held his arm affectionately. The same sister who used to call her, Big Sister, with innocent eyes. The same sister Lin Yu protected for years. You should blame yourself, Lin Shanshan said softly. You were too naive, too easy to manipulate. Lin Yu stared at her in disbelief. She had handed over the company shares, given away her inheritance, trusted them completely, and in the end, they poisoned her reputation, framed her for embezzlement, destroyed her marriage, and now, they wanted her dead. Her father looked away coldly. You embarrassed the Lin family. Lin Yu laughed weakly. What family? Ever since her mother died, this house stopped being her home. Her stepmother stole everything. Her father pretended not to see. Her stepsister slowly took over her life. And she, foolishly endured it all. Xu Minghao crouched in front of her. You know, he said lightly, there was always someone protecting you from the shadows. Lin Yu frowned. What? He smirked. But unfortunately for you, he died in that car accident 3 months ago. Her breathing froze. A face suddenly flashed through her mind. A cold, distant man. Tall, elegant, always silent. Gu Baiken, the terrifying CEO of the Gu Group. The man everyone feared. The man who attended her wedding without saying a word. The man whose eyes always softened when looking at her. No, no way. Xu Minghao laughed at her expression. You really didn't know. Gu Baiken loved you for years. Lin Yu's pupils shook violently. He protected your company secretly. Paid your debts. Suppressed scandals for you. Lin Shanshan sneered. What a pity. Even while dying, he still worried about you. Something shattered inside Lin Yu. The only person who truly loved her had already died because of her stupidity. Tears mixed with rain on her face. If she could live again. If heaven gave her another chance. She would never trust these monsters again. She would protect the person who truly loved her. And she would make everyone who betrayed her pay. Suddenly, a hard shove hit her shoulder. Lin Yu fell backward. Wind screamed in her ears. The city lights spun violently. And darkness swallowed everything. ... Miss Lin. Miss Lin. Lin Yu suddenly opened her eyes. Bright crystal lights hung above her. Soft music played in the ballroom. She froze. This place. She knew this place. It was the engagement banquet. 5 years ago. Before everything was destroyed. Before betrayal. Before death. Lin Yu slowly looked down at her hands. No blood. No injuries. Young. Alive. Her breathing became uneven. She had returned. Back to the beginning. This time, she would destroy them all. Chapter 1. Rebirth at the engagement banquet. Yu, why are you standing there? A sweet voice sounded nearby. Lin Yu slowly turned. Lin Shanshan walked toward her in a white dress, smiling innocently. The exact same smile from her previous life. But now Lin Yu could see the poison underneath. Her nails dug into her palm. Hatred surged violently through her chest. In her previous life, this was the night Lin Shanshan secretly drugged her wine. Then she arranged for reporters to catch Lin Yu entering another man's hotel room. That scandal destroyed her reputation overnight. Xu Minghao used the opportunity to emotionally manipulate her further. And Lin Yu spent years desperately trying to prove her innocence. Not this time. Lin Shanshan handed her a wine glass. Sister, everyone is waiting for your toast. Lin Yu stared at the wine. Then smiled. A cold smile. Of course. Lin Shanshan relaxed slightly. Everything was going according to plan. But the next second, Lin Yu suddenly switched the glasses. Since you prepared it so carefully, she said softly, you should drink first. Lin Shanshan froze. Panic flashed across her face. What? Why? Lin Yu tilted her head. Afraid. Several guests nearby looked over curiously. Lin Shanshan forced a laugh. And no, under everyone's gaze, she could only drink it. Within minutes, her face began turning red. Her breathing became uneven. Soon, she stumbled directly into a male guest's arms. The ballroom exploded into chaos. What's wrong with Miss Lin? She looks drugged. Oh my god. Reporters rushed forward. Cameras flashed wildly. Lin Yu calmly watched everything. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, she felt satisfaction. Xu Minghao hurried toward Lin Shanshan anxiously. The concern in his eyes was impossible to hide. Lin Yu laughed internally. So early. Their affair had already started long ago. Xu Minghao glared at Lin Yu. Did you do something? Lin Yu widened her eyes innocently. What are you talking about? She drank her own wine. You. Before he could finish, another commotion erupted near the entrance. The crowd immediately parted. A tall man entered slowly. Black suit, cold expression, terrifying presence. Gu Baikan, the future ruler of the business world. The man everyone feared, and the man who once loved her silently until death. Lin Yu's heart trembled violently. He was alive, alive. In her previous life, she never understood why he attended this engagement banquet. Now she knew. He came because of her. Gu Baikan's gaze swept across the room indifferently. Then suddenly paused. Their eyes met. Lin Yu felt her throat tighten. In his deep black eyes, she saw something she ignored in her previous life. Concern, warmth, love, very carefully hidden. Her eyes became red instantly. Gu Baikan frowned slightly. For some reason, the girl looking at him now felt different. As if she had suffered countless hardships. As if she had known him for years. Lin Yu slowly walked toward him. The entire ballroom fell silent. Everyone knew Gu Baikan hated social interaction. No woman dared approach him. Yet Lin Yu stopped directly in front of him. Then softly said, Mr. Gu, may I invite you for a dance? The entire room froze. Xu Minghao's expression darkened immediately. Lin Shanshan stared in disbelief. Gu Baikan looked at her quietly. For several seconds, nobody breathed. Then, he extended his hand. All right. The ballroom exploded. Nobody understood what was happening. But Lin Yu knew. From this moment onward, everything would change. Chapter 2, The Man Who Loved Her in Silence. The music slowed. Gu Baikan's hand rested lightly on Lin Yu's waist. Even through the fabric of her dress, she could feel his warmth. In her previous life, she was afraid of him. Everyone in Jingzhou feared him. Cold-blooded, untouchable, merciless in business. But now, standing this close, Lin Yu only felt heartache. How lonely must he have been? Loving her silently while watching her marry another man. Protecting her from the shadows while she remained completely unaware. Why are you crying? His deep voice pulled her back. Only then did Lin Yu realize tears had already fallen. She quickly wiped them away. Sorry. Gu Baikan stared at her quietly. You seem different tonight. Lin Yu forced a smile. Is that bad? No. His answer came immediately. A faint softness appeared in his eyes. It's better. Her heart shook. In her previous life, nobody ever chose her. Nobody ever stood beside her unconditionally. Except him. After the dance ended, Xu Minghao stormed over. Yu, we need to talk. His voice carried suppressed anger. Lin Yu looked at him coldly. The man she once desperately loved now only disgusted her. How rare, she said lightly. You finally remembered you're my fiance. Xu Minghao stiffened. What do you mean? Lin Yu glanced meaningfully toward the drunken Lin Shanshan nearby. Shouldn't you be taking care of your real concern? His face changed instantly. Before he could respond, Gu Baikan suddenly spoke. Miss Lin seems tired. His tone was calm, but the pressure was overwhelming. Xu Minghao immediately fell silent. Nobody dared offend Gu Baikan. Lin Yu looked up at him. He was protecting her. Even now, just like before, a warm ache spread through her chest. This life, she would never let him stand alone again. Chapter 3, Breaking the Engagement. The next morning, headlines exploded across the internet. Lin family's second daughter caught drugged at engagement party. Xu group heir suspected love triangle. Lin Shanshan's pure image collapses. Lin Shanshan smashed everything in her room. How did this happen? Her stepmother, Zhao Meili, looked furious. Didn't you say the drug was meant for Lin Yu? I don't know. Downstairs, Lin Yu calmly drank tea. Her father stormed toward her. Did you embarrass this family on purpose? Lin Yu looked at him coldly. In my previous life. She paused internally. No, not previous life. This life, she would stop pretending. Father, she said calmly, why are you only angry when the victim isn't me? He froze. Zhao Meili immediately interrupted. Yu, how can you speak to your father like that? Lin Yu laughed. Enough acting. I'm tired. Everyone became stunned. The obedient eldest daughter had never spoken back before. At that moment, Xu Minghao entered the house. Yu, let's talk privately. Lin Yu stood. Good timing. She walked directly to the center of the living room. Then removed her engagement ring. I'm canceling the engagement. Silence. Absolute silence. Xu Minghao's face darkened. What nonsense are you saying? Nonsense. Lin Yu smiled coldly. You and Lin Shanshan have been sleeping together for over a year. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Everyone's expressions changed violently. Lin Shanshan panicked. That's a lie. Lin Yu directly threw a stack of photos onto the table. Hotel records, private meetings, intimate photos, evidence. All evidence she secretly collected after rebirth. Xu Minghao's expression turned ugly instantly. Her father slapped the table furiously. You shameless things. But Lin Yu only found it ironic. In her previous life, he protected them no matter what. The only reason he was angry now was because they got exposed publicly. Xu Minghao gritted his teeth. Fine, since you already know, let's stop pretending. He looked at Lin Shanshan lovingly. The person I truly love is Shanshan. Lin Yu nearly laughed. In her previous life, hearing those words destroyed her. Now, she felt nothing. Then congratulations, she said lightly. She turned around calmly, and left. Behind her, chaos erupted. But Lin Yu didn't care anymore. Outside the mansion, a black luxury car waited silently. The window lowered. Gu Baiken sat inside. His eyes landed on her red face. Who hit you? Lin Yu blinked. Nobody had ever noticed such tiny details before. She suddenly felt exhausted. So exhausted. Without thinking, she opened the car door. Then sat beside him. Gu Baiken stiffened slightly. Lin Yu leaned back and closed her eyes. Mr. Gu, she whispered softly, if I said I wanted revenge, would you help me? Silence filled the car. Then his low voice answered. Yes. No hesitation. No conditions. Just one word. But it felt like the entire world. Chapter 4. Beginning the revenge. From that day onward, Jingzhou's business circle began changing quietly. The first thing Lin Yu did was reclaim her mother's shares. In her previous life, Zhao Meili manipulated her into signing them away. This time, Lin Yu secretly gathered legal evidence beforehand. At the shareholders' meeting, she directly exposed years of financial fraud. The board became furious. Zhao Meili's face turned pale. How dare you frame me? Lin Yu calmly placed another document on the table. Bank transfers, fake accounts, illegal withdrawals, every crime perfectly organized. You stole over 50 million yuan from the company, Lin Yu said coldly. Her father nearly collapsed. The shareholders immediately demanded investigation. Zhao Meili was removed from financial management on the spot. Meanwhile, Shu Group suddenly began suffering massive losses. Their largest overseas partnership was cancelled overnight. Their stocks dropped continuously. Xu Minghao desperately searched for answers. But nobody told him the truth. Because the one suppressing Shu Group was Gu Baiken. Late at night, Lin Yu stood inside the Gu Group's top floor office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the glittering city. Gu Baiken worked quietly behind his desk. Even after midnight, he remained calm and composed. Lin Yu watched him silently. In her previous life, she never once tried understanding him. But now she noticed everything. The exhaustion hidden beneath his cold expression. The faint scar near his wrist. The coffee untouched for hours. You should rest, she said softly. Gu Baiken looked up. Are you worried about me? Lin Yu froze slightly, then nodded honestly. Yes. Something changed in his eyes. A warmth so deep it nearly broke her heart. After a long silence, he suddenly asked, "Why did you choose me?" Lin Yu looked away. "Because in my previous life, you died protecting me," but she could not say that. So instead, she smiled softly. "Because you're the only one who never hurt me." Ji Baiken stared at her for a long time. Then quietly said, "I won't hurt you in this life either." This life. Those words made her chest ache. If only he knew. They had already lost one lifetime. Chapter 5, The Hidden Truth About Her Mother. A week later, Lin Yu received shocking information. Her mother's death was not an accident. The evidence came from an old driver who once worked for the Lin family. He secretly met Lin Yu late at night. "Miss," he said nervously, "your mother discovered Madame Zhao was having an affair years ago." Lin Yu's fingers tightened. What happened next? The old man lowered his voice. The brakes of Madame's car were tampered with. Boom. Lin Yu's mind went blank. Her mother was murdered. Murdered. Rage consumed her completely. Back in the villa, Zhao Meili was still acting arrogantly. "You think you've won," she sneered. "Your father will always choose me." Lin Yu slowly walked toward her. Then suddenly slapped her across the face. The room fell silent. Zhao Meili screamed, "You dare hit me!" Lin Yu's eyes were terrifyingly cold. "You killed my mother." For the first time, fear appeared on Zhao Meili's face. "You're crazy." "Am I?" Lin Yu threw the investigation file directly at her. Witness testimony, repair records, insurance transfers, everything. Her father read the documents with trembling hands. "You." He looked at Zhao Meili in horror. Zhao Meili suddenly panicked completely. "It wasn't intentional. I only wanted to scare her." That single sentence destroyed everything. Lin Yu closed her eyes. Even after rebirth, hearing the truth still shattered her heart. Her father collapsed onto the sofa weakly. For years, he protected the murderer. At that moment, police sirens echoed outside. Ji Baiken entered calmly behind the officers. "I already submitted the evidence," he said quietly. Zhao Meili screamed as police dragged her away. Lin Shanshan cried desperately, but nobody pitied them anymore. Lin Yu stood frozen. Ji Baiken walked toward her slowly. Then gently covered her eyes. "You don't need to watch." His palm was warm, steady, safe, and for the first time after returning to this life, Lin Yu broke down crying. Chapter 6, Falling in Love Again. After Zhao Meili's arrest, Lin Yu became unusually quiet. At night, she often dreamed about her previous life. The rooftop, the betrayal, Ji Baiken's death. One evening, heavy thunder woke her suddenly. She sat trembling on the bed. Then realized someone was beside her. Ji Baiken. He frowned slightly. "You had another nightmare." Lin Yu stared at him blankly. "Why are you here? You called me." She froze. Apparently, half asleep, she had phoned him unconsciously. And he actually came. At 3 in the morning. Without hesitation, Ji Baiken handed her warm water. "You're safe." Simple words. Yet they calmed her instantly. Lin Yu suddenly asked, "If one day I told you impossible things, would you believe me?" He looked at her quietly. "Yes." Again. No hesitation. Her eyes became red. "Even if everyone else thinks I'm crazy." "Yes." Lin Yu finally understood. Ji Baiken's love was terrifying because it was unconditional. He would stand beside her no matter what. In both lifetimes. She slowly moved closer, then carefully hugged him. Ji Baiken's body stiffened instantly. Lin Yu whispered softly, "Thank you for finding me again." He lowered his eyes. A storm of emotions hid inside them. But in the end, he only wrapped his arms around her gently. As if holding something precious. Something he feared losing. Chapter 7, The Revenge Against Xu Minghao. Xu Group was collapsing rapidly. Banks withdrew support. Partners cancelled contracts. Rumors spread across Jingzhou. Xu Minghao finally realized someone powerful was targeting him. Then he discovered the truth. GU Group. Panic consumed him. He immediately went to find Lin Yu. At a cafe, he grabbed her wrist desperately. "Yu, please help me." Lin Yu looked at him calmly. The once arrogant heir now appeared exhausted and desperate. How pitiful, she said softly. Xu Minghao stiffened. You still love me, right? Lin Yu nearly laughed. Love. The moment he pushed her off that rooftop in her previous life. Everything died. You know, she said quietly, there was a time when I truly wanted to spend my life with you. Xu Minghao's eyes brightened instantly. But then, you destroyed that version of me yourself. His face froze. Lin Yu leaned closer. You betrayed me for money. You used my trust. You destroyed my mother's company. And now you want my pity. Her voice became colder with each sentence. Xu Minghao suddenly felt terrified. The woman before him no longer resembled the gentle Lin Yu he once manipulated easily. This version of her was dangerous. Beautiful. Untouchable. Before he could speak again, a tall figure appeared. Behind Lin Yu, Gu Baiken. Xu Minghao instinctively stepped back. The pressure from that man was overwhelming. Gu Baiken placed his coat over Lin Yu's shoulders naturally. Then looked at Xu Minghao coldly. Still alive. 3 simple words. Yet Xu Minghao turned pale instantly. Lin Yu almost smiled. Her terrifying CEO was openly threatening people now. Gu Baiken lowered his head slightly. Are you done? Lin Yu nodded. Yes. Without another glance at Xu Minghao, they left together. Behind them, Xu Minghao finally understood. He had lost completely, not because Lin Yu became stronger, but because someone infinitely stronger chose to stand beside her. Chapter 8. The Secret from the Previous Life. One rainy evening, Lin Yu entered Gu Baiken's study while searching for documents. Then suddenly froze. Inside a locked drawer were photographs. Hundreds of them. All of her. School graduation. Birthday parties. Business events. Even candid pictures she never knew existed. At the bottom lay an old letter. Her hands trembled while opening it. Inside, elegant handwriting filled the page. If anything happens to me, protect Lin Yu first. Signed, Gu Baiken. Her vision blurred. How long had he loved her? How much had he sacrificed silently? At that moment, the door opened. Gu Baiken entered. His expression changed slightly after seeing the photographs. Lin Yu looked at him with red eyes. How long? Silence. Then he answered quietly. 10 years. 10 years. He loved her for 10 years. And she never noticed. Lin Yu suddenly remembered something from her previous life. The car accident. The timing felt strange. What really happened during your accident? She asked softly. Gu Baiken's eyes darkened. Xu Minghao wanted you completely isolated. Her breathing stopped. You mean? Yes. The accident was attempted murder. Lin Yu's body shook violently. In her previous life, Gu Baiken almost died because he protected her. Tears rolled down her face uncontrollably. Gu Baiken immediately walked toward her. But before he could speak, Lin Yu grabbed his collar. Then kissed him. The room fell silent. Gu Baiken froze completely. Lin Yu's tears wet his skin. I'm sorry, she whispered brokenly. Sorry for never seeing you. Sorry for hurting you. Sorry for wasting an entire lifetime. Gu Baiken slowly held her face. His usually cold eyes were now full of overwhelming emotion. You don't need to apologize to me. But Lin Yu only cried harder. Because he still loved her. Even after everything. Chapter 9. Engagement to the Devil of Jingzhou. When news spread that Gu Baiken publicly proposed to Lin Yu, the entire city exploded. Gu Baiken is getting married. To Lin Yu. Nobody could believe it. The terrifying business emperor who rejected countless socialites. Actually proposed personally. At the top floor of the Gu Group headquarters. Under a sky full of fireworks. Gu Baiken knelt before her. His voice remained calm, but his hands trembled slightly. Lin Yu, he said softly, this world has never treated you kindly. Her eyes instantly became red. So let me give you another world instead. Tears blurred her vision. In both lifetimes, nobody ever chose her this firmly. Nobody except him. I promise, Gu Baiken continued quietly, nobody will ever hurt you again. The cold wind blew across the rooftop. Lin Yu suddenly remembered the rooftop where she died. The betrayal, the loneliness, and now, the same height, the same night sky, but this time, Someone was holding her hand. Someone who loved her enough to fight the entire world. Lin Yu laughed through tears. Then nodded. Yes. For the first time after rebirth. She truly felt alive. Chapter 10. Lin Shanshan's desperation. Lin Shanshan could not accept reality. How did everything become like this? In her previous plan, Lin Yu should have been ruined completely. Instead, Lin Yu became the future Madame Gu. The entire business world now respected her. Meanwhile, Shu Group was bankrupt. Her mother was in prison. And Shu Minghao increasingly blamed her for everything. One night, Lin Shanshan secretly followed Lin Yu. Hatred twisted her face. If I can't have happiness, she muttered, then neither can you. She hired kidnappers, planned a car accident, and prepared to destroy Lin Yu permanently. But she underestimated Gu Baiken. The moment Lin Yu's car route changed unexpectedly, Gu Baiken already noticed something wrong. Within minutes, his people intercepted the kidnappers. In an abandoned warehouse outside the city, Lin Shanshan was dragged forward trembling. Gu Baiken sat silently in the darkness. His expression was terrifyingly calm. Lin Yu stood beside him. Lin Shanshan immediately cried, "Sister, please forgive me." Lin Yu stared at her quietly. In her previous life, she once begged exactly like this. Begged for mercy, begged for truth. But nobody listened. Now the positions were reversed. How interesting, Lin Yu said softly. Lin Shanshan crawled toward her desperately. I was wrong. I was jealous. Please forgive me. Lin Yu looked down at her. You never regretted hurting me, she said coldly. You only regret losing. Lin Shanshan froze. Because it was true. Gu Baiken finally spoke. Send the evidence to the police. His voice carried no emotion. The kidnappers. The murder attempt. Financial crimes. Everything. Lin Shanshan collapsed completely. As security dragged her away screaming, Lin Yu quietly watched. No pity remained. Some wounds could never be forgiven. Chapter 11. The wedding everyone envied. 6 months later, the wedding of Gu Baiken and Lin Yu became the most famous event in Jingzhou. Luxury cars stretched for miles. Business elites attended personally. Even international media reported the ceremony. But what shocked everyone most was Gu Baiken himself. The cold, untouchable CEO who terrified the business world looked at Lin Yu with impossible tenderness. As if she were his entire universe. Inside the dressing room, Lin Yu stared at herself in the mirror. White wedding gown, diamond crown, happiness. If someone told her during her previous life that she would eventually become this loved, she would never believe it. The door opened softly. Gu Baiken entered. Traditionally, the groom should not see the bride before the ceremony. But apparently Gu Baiken did not care. He walked toward her slowly. Then stopped. For several seconds, he simply stared. Lin Yu laughed nervously. What? His voice became hoarse. You're beautiful. Her heart skipped. This terrifying man could destroy companies without blinking. Yet now he looked genuinely nervous. Lin Yu stepped closer, then gently adjusted his tie. Mr. Gu, she teased softly, are you nervous? He looked at her honestly. Yes. That answer unexpectedly melted her heart. Gu Baiken lowered his forehead against hers. I've waited too long for today. 10 years. 2 lifetimes. Too long indeed. During the ceremony, Gu Baiken held her hand tightly the entire time. As if afraid she would disappear. When exchanging vows, his usually steady voice slightly trembled. I will protect you forever. Lin Yu's eyes filled with tears. Because she knew, he truly would. Chapter 12. The world he gave her. After marriage, Jingzhou discovered something unbelievable. Gu Baiken spoiled his wife shamelessly. The man once known as the devil of Jingzhou now cancelled meetings just to eat breakfast with Lin Yu. He personally learned cooking because she once casually mentioned wanting homemade meals. He bought islands, luxury brands, entire buildings, not because Lin Yu demanded them, but because he wanted to give her everything. One evening, Lin Yu stood on the balcony overlooking the sea. Gu Baiken wrapped a blanket around her shoulders from behind. You'll catch cold. She leaned back against him softly. Then suddenly asked, If I disappeared one day, what would you do? Ji Baiken's arms tightened immediately. Don't say that. Lin Yu smiled sadly. In her previous life, she truly disappeared, and he spent years silently protecting her memory. She turned around slowly, then held his face gently. This time, she whispered, I won't leave you behind. Ji Baiken looked deeply into her eyes, as if trying to understand something hidden. Then quietly said, Good. The ocean breeze moved softly around them. Peaceful, warm, for the first time in both lifetimes. Lin Yu finally had a home. Not because of blood, not because of obligation, but because someone loved her completely. Epilogue. 1 year later, Lin Yu visited her mother's grave. Fresh flowers rested quietly beneath the sunlight. Ji Baiken stood beside her silently. Lin Yu smiled softly. Mom, she whispered, I'm happy now. The wind blew gently through the trees. Warm, peaceful. Behind her stood the man who crossed 2 lifetimes to love her. The man who gave her everything. Revenge, protection, a future, a family, and a love powerful enough to rewrite fate itself. Ji Baiken gently held her hand. Ready to go home, Lin Yu looked up at him. Then smiled. Yes, this time, she finally chose the right person. And this time, he got to keep her. End. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe Miss Novella.